Hey everybody, welcome to Weekend Confirms Question of the Week. I'm Jeff Mattas. This week's question comes from G Shepherd 1. He says, which is worse, movie-based video games or video game-based movies? Yes. No, I mean, seriously, they're both traditionally pretty bad. Some of that might change, though, in the movie arena. Granted, there aren't a whole lot of, a lot of these projects are in flux. Like, there was talk about a Bioshock movie for a while with some pretty big names. The Uncharted movie keeps getting brought up and stuff like that. But really, movies that are already out that exist that you can go watch, it's kind of a sad landscape in that respect. I mean, it's sort of the most common examples or most well-known examples would be like the Tomb Raider movies, by and large pretty terrible. The Resident Evil stuff, your mileage may vary depending on how big of a Resident Evil fan you are. The Hitman movie with Timothy Olyphant was watchable, I guess, was the best way to put it. But yeah, really, in that respect, there aren't a whole lot of great examples. Most of the, films or live action stuff based on games that's any good is sort of first party stuff. Like the one thing that springs to mind is the live action cinematic short films that they made for Assassin's Creed before that came out. Not fantastically spectacular, but they were pretty good. Alien is another example of a franchise movie based that Colonial Marines is coming out pretty soon, and jury's still out on whether or not that's going to be awesome or not, but that could be. There have been Alien games in the past based on that IP that were pretty good and had a pretty big fan base. So it's long and the short of it is there really isn't nobody's really broken that formula yet on either side. And I think a lot of it has to do with release dates, movie studios, when they have a game IP that they're gonna or a game release that they're gonna try to release simultaneously with their movie. You've got the developers working under some crazy deadline, and they know that they've got to follow the movie events to a certain degree, and usually end up with sort of a projects that feel like tie-in projects. Like they're not really the greatest games. They're just sort of a cash-in opportunity for the studios. That said, with video games becoming more and more popular and continuing to become more and more mainstream, and the fan base continuing to grow, I think you'll see, more and more opportunities for success, either making games based on movies or movies based on games. But yeah, that's a really good question. I'm sort of it sort of perplexes me why there hasn't been more successes in that regard, but I'm hopeful that eventually there will be. Thanks. It's a really good question.
That happened with me at E3 a couple years ago. But I can't tell it to you right now because it's already on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and type in Burrito of Fate, Burrito of Fate story is probably the most legendary story
It is what it is.
has ever happened to me or I've ever told from history. So go ahead and go to YouTube and look up the Burrito of Fate story, and then I'll share it in with you.